Okay, so I normally don't do too many real world conspiracy theories in these videos, but I think it's I've been thinking about this because I'm into all that, paying attention to what you listen to, paying attention to what you hear on the news, paying attention to what what you're being told because a lot of times manipulative people, you know, they hide a lot of things in plain sight. A lot of their agendas are usually they're very forthcoming with a lot of that information. Um, I don't trust politicians. I don't vote. I don't see a point in it. For many reasons. I don't associate myself with normal like social norms. Uh, a lot of things that people consider normal everyday ways of life. I don't. There's a lot that I don't adopt. There's a lot that I don't participate in. Um, but this is very interesting. And let me say this, man. Um, I thought about this because when I listened to, at one point I thought Kendrick might have been the next one up. Let me clarify what I'm talking about. When I listened to this album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I get it. Um, there's a lot of demonic stuff. There's a lot of evil shit that's passed through music, movies, a lot of media. A lot of shit is being funneled through that stuff. But this album, which what I took from this album, and this is just me because I think about it, but sometimes it's hard for me to convey my thoughts and ideas out of my mouth. Like sometimes it's difficult for me to explain it in a way that it makes sense. But this album, what it meant to me was, as a person that dealt with a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse, a lot of different things when I was a child, and as I got older, um, and not just by family, friends, whatever, but by the system itself that is 100% designed to exploit and to further a lot of the psychological damage that your family are under and that your family perpetuate against you. And the system itself is designed to enact its own versions of psychological torture and damage, right? Um, so a lot of young boys, a lot of young girls that grow up very confused, um, and I think it's very obvious because when you talk about black culture, when you talk about like black children, black adults, and the only reason why I say black is because none of us know where the fuck we're from. You can do one of those heritage lineage look. You send your DNA or your blood or whatever in, and they can trace you. I think all that's bullshit. None of us know where the fuck we're from unless you have family that kept track of that shit on their own. None of us know where the fuck we're from. We're all lost. So the only thing that I can draw from so people can understand is the black designation, even though I don't really think consider that a race, but it is our designation because we have, like, as far as most of us know, we don't have a lineage. I mean, I keep hearing people say, "I'm this, I'm an Indian, I'm an Israelite, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that." Like, okay, but unless you have concrete proof because your family was able to keep track of it, I don't think so. But um, this is why you see a lot of black people running around acting like fucking fools, and we're the most clowned and made fun of people on the fucking planet. It's because it is designed that way. And I'm not doing this to say, black people are superior and all this other bullshit. I'm not doing this to say that. What I'm saying is we are specifically being targeted for a specific reason. and one can make an argument is that we're the most gullible, or we're the easiest to to take advantage, because most of us don't think outside of a certain box. One can make an argument for that. One, I guess it's based on what you believe the intention is. Why we are always the example, right? So let me get to why I'm doing this, right? Um, there was a lot of messages in his music. I gotta say this, man. Like I am into the, like, I know Kendrick is down with a lot of that shit. Like when he said, like when he uses the word brother in his music, I know what the fuck that means. I'm not ignoring that, but this album is almost, one guy is trying to find his, like, it seems like this album, and this is just from my humble opinion, this album screams off as one guy trying to find his his version of paradise, and but in these troubled lands or whatever, if you want to get poetic about it. Like he's trying to find his like, I don't know how to explain it. He's trying to find his peace. He's trying to find his meadow. In the valley of hell, which is like life on Earth is, it feels like hell, right? He's trying to find his safe place. And this is what I'm getting from this. Like I'm getting from this album, he spends most of the album trying to work through a lot of the traumas, a lot of the issues that he had, a lot of his flawed thinking, a lot of everything. He's trying to figure it out. He was trying to figure it out. He was trying, he was ruminating on those thoughts. I look at those previous albums that he had, Damn, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, as his way of ruminating on those thoughts. A lot of times when people go through traumatic situations, it's easier to harp on those feelings and harp on the situations instead of looking for potential solutions to get past them. Because it's easier. It's like, for anybody that's ever listened to 99 Neighbors, there was a song, I think it's called Thunder or something like that. In the song, a line goes, "I don't want to fix it, I just want it better." And that's a lot of people that deal with traumatic issues. They don't actively. It takes them a while to actively start to fix the thinking, whatever's keeping them inside that box. So a lot of times we ruminate on the thoughts. We ruminate on our feelings toward those thoughts. And I felt like with those Kendrick albums, that's what he was doing. He was ruminating on the issues, the problems in our communities, why things are happening this way, why we can't seem to figure this shit out. And this album was his way of getting past those. Now, when it comes to Eckhart Tolle, I don't really agree with his philosophy on a lot of, like, I'm not a spiritual, like, I'm not a religious dude. I'm not into all that shit. But to think that man is God is flawed thinking, very dangerous thinking, especially when you have money, power, influence, whatever. Like, it's very flawed thinking that can turn dangerous, because if you start to look at yourself as a God, power corrupts. Even the most righteous people, power will corrupt. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Like in the Batman movie where Harvey Dent said, "You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, because with power, corruption follows. It's going to come, right?" So I don't really agree with Eckhart Tolle's philosophies. I don't really mess with that. But this album did feel like a roadmap. And I've always been, you're not going to find solutions to your problems through the enemy. You're not going to find it. Like when he said, heroes looking to villains to save them. you're not going to find solutions through the enemy. To be honest, I think we should be looking for a way out. I'm talking out of this shit. Not trying to make America inhabitable for us. We need to be finding a way out of here. And out of here can mean many different things, and it's up to you to figure out what that means for you. But getting out should be what we should be, pushing for. But to go to this, I felt like that album was fucking with duality in a way, where you had Kendrick's human side and you had Kendrick's industry side. And it's like the part of him that is, he's still, like, these artists, man, they've done some fucked up shit, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Kendrick's done some fucked up shit. And I'm sure he's kind of come to terms with what will happen to him. He's already come to terms with that. I'm pretty sure. But that doesn't, stop him from feeling remorseful, I'm sure, like a lot of the decisions he's made, just still where the state of our people is. I'm sure that these are still things that fuck up his mind, like you can't, like when you care about people, you don't just stop caring about people. Even if you try actively to stop caring, you just don't stop. And I think that this album was his way of caring in a way that he could care, I guess. Because I got to tell you, man, like I've listened to this album 5, 6, 7 times. I've listened to this album a lot, and I've digested everything. And I got to tell you, man, this does not feel like a normal album. It's hard to explain, but all right, let me go to why I started this video. I'm trying to give some background into what I'm about to say. I think Kendrick might be the next dude up because just listen, this is Knox Hill. Dude is fucking intelligent when it comes to breaking down lyrics. I mean, I like to watch his videos about certain music because he can draw on things. He can draw on things that I've thought about or I've never even broached the concept before. Like I've never brushed up against that thinking before, and sometimes I listen to this dude talk and it's like, oh my, what the fuck? And this is one topic where the N95 video. If you remember the N95 video, you remember that Kendrick was walking down this long hallway bopping with Baby Keem's arm around his neck, right? And they're just going down the hallway, and all of a sudden, Baby Keem, which I thought was weird, Baby Keem kissed him on the cheek, and you see the reaction from Kendrick. Like, nigga, what you doing? You see the reaction. I don't know why they left that in there. I know why they left the kiss in there. I believe I know why they left the kiss in there. But I don't know why they left Kendrick's reaction to the kiss in there. But it felt like a super improv moment. Not improv. Like, it felt like a super organic moment that happened where Kendrick got kissed and he reacted in a way like, ooh. But let's listen to what Knox has to say, because this is like he lays down some good points that's making me think, because when this album came out, I was like, how is this dude able to put this shit out? With some of the things that he's saying in here completely goes against a lot of things that has been pushed for years, and a lot of the thinking, and a lot of, like, he's going against a lot of ideals in this fucking, like, on this album. And I'm like, if he's a part of the program, why is he almost sticking a middle finger up to the program in a way with the things that he is saying? Like, all right, let's just listen to what he says. Hold on. Let me go to it.
When you show your show, don't crack. When you show your bro for leverage. When you sell your soul on credit, when you sell your bro for leverage. If you saw my short of this, during this moment in the video, him and Baby Keem are walking down the hallway together. Baby Keem gives him a kiss on the cheek, and Kendrick looks at him like, the fuck you doing, bro? But selling your bro for leverage, selling out your bro, your fam, maybe for leverage with the feds, maybe snitching to get out of something, taking a plea, right? But also that kiss on the cheek, because in that video, Kendrick Lamar sits up on a cross, right? And he looks like Jesus with the cross. And we'll talk about this, but his being a savior to hip hop mentality, being a savior to his community, being a savior to the culture, and feeling that way, and how he deals with this savior complex, because he's one of the biggest rappers of all time, one of the biggest artists, right? So playing off of that savior complex, that Jesus representation, it's not a stretch then when Baby Keem kisses him on the cheek, selling your bro for leverage, because Judas gave Jesus a kiss on the cheek. Judas sold out Jesus and signified him to be killed. And then, as time goes on, that kiss on the cheek goes even further into this violence that Kendrick talks about, and this violent thing, because if you think about mobsters, right, mafioso type of shit, within that mob culture, it used to be if you got a kiss on the cheek, that signaled you're about to die. Like, that's marking a man for death, and that has roots in Jesus. And again, Kendrick, the crown of thorns around him, the savior complex and mentality, he's telling us about this savior complex and this Jesus connection right there on the album cover itself.
Right there. I mean, such a detailed. I'm jealous because the way this guy is able to explain his thoughts, a lot of my thoughts are like a fucking beehive that just got hit with a stick. It's fucking chaos. So sometimes my thoughts come out of my head chaotically. And the way that he's able to juggle different concepts and crunch them down in a way where he's able to relay them in order while also not, I mean, his explanation about this situation made me like really think. I think he's headed down the right path, but he kind of veers off a little bit. But what if this is, and I always thought this was Kendrick's last album. His discography, his major studio albums felt like a timeline, right? Section 80, for anybody who knows what Section 8 is, well, I live in New Jersey, so Section 8 in New Jersey is a housing program. I'm pretty sure it's everywhere, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. It's a housing program that gives less fortunate people vouchers to be able to purchase homes, apartments, whatever. Something like that. I don't want to go too deep on it, because I'm trying not to overtalk. All right, and then so I thought that album dealt more with the adolescent side of a lot of his stories, a lot of his encounters. Before you were 10 years old, around 10 years old, anywhere between like 3 to maybe like 12 years old. That's adolescence, right? And then Good Kid, Mad City was talking about his teen years, where you had, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19-year-old Kendrick bullshitting, doing, what it is that Kendrick does. And then To Pimp a Butterfly was Kendrick's early 20s, which I think is when he started. I don't know when he started rapping, but when it started to become more of a future, that's To Pimp a Butterfly. I think To Pimp a Butterfly, when he was, I think that was supposed to allude to how young artists, young rappers are exploited in ways by the industry itself. You have this young artist who is an artist, not just a rapper or a singer, is an artist. It's like a painter, a sculptor. They sculpt their projects. They leave some of them. That's what makes an artist different than regular people, is because they have an ability to connect by leaving parts of their being in their art to connect to other people. It's this whole thing. But I thought that To Pimp a Butterfly was, explaining his early 20s, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, explaining those years, right? And Damn was his late 20s, the older Kendrick gets, the more knowledgeable he gets about certain things, the more he starts to understand certain dilemmas and things like that. And this was supposed to be where Kendrick is now, and I don't know. I just feel like this is the culmination of Kendrick's life. Both, you know, this is both his autobiography and I don't know. It just feels like this is the end. Um, in the way that he explained those messages that he saw, in a way that he understood them in the video, makes sense. Now, I think the reason why Kendrick is in this video posing as Jesus in those videos, I think it has something to do with the savior complex, the martyrdom, being a martyr for the culture, dying for a cause, you know, you're willing to give your life for a cause. And I'm telling you, I'm going to lose my shit if something happens to Kendrick and I'm like, damn, I fucking knew it. Because a lot of times, man, these deaths happen and nobody expects them to come. Nobody sees them coming. Like when Demaryius Thomas died, I was like, what the dude just retired a couple years before he fucking passed. And I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck? A lot of times you see things that surprise you. And with Kendrick starting this new label, most people assume that he's going to break off from his current label right now, start his own shit, start bringing in rappers or whatever, and doing whatever, taking more of a management / producer role. But what if this is it, man? That's just my thoughts. A lot of this could just not be true, and I could just be thinking too much, man. But what if this is it, bro? What if this is it? And I think, and it puts another meaning on the Savior song, where he's telling you, listen, man, like we can give you pieces of what we understand, but we can't save you. We can't save your life. We can't do anything like that, because Tupac is forever a legend. Not just because of the music that he made, but because he made great music, but he died so young, just like Biggie, just like Juice WRLD, just like XXX. I mean, people talk more about XXX now than when he was alive, unless they were talking about some bullshit he was involved in. But they talk about him more now. People listen to more Juice WRLD music now than they did before he died. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like with Kendrick, man, like they will continue to, like, if something was to happen, like they would continue to monetize off his name, off his likeness. They would turn this into a fucking circus. And he's saying, listen, man, I'm not your hero. Don't follow me. Don't look to me to lead you anywhere. But I will, I felt like this album was his way of at least giving some, not instructions, but like he was explaining where he was and how he got to where he was. But this could all be bullshit. I could just be thinking too fucking much. I don't know. I'm sure that anybody that has a contrasting opinion, I'll be hearing. But all right, that's it.